Between Worlds 3025, Chapter 6, Season 1. We then instantly arrived back in the backyard, landing as if we'd been dropped from the stars. I felt a jolt, a ripple through my body, and before I could even process it, I looked at Alison. She was standing there, weary smile tugging at the corners of her lips, her eyes sparkling with the same exhaustion. "What a ride," I said, exhaling sharply, feeling the ground beneath me as though it were the first time I ever stood on earth. Alison let out a soft laugh, her voice a mix of relief and disbelief. "Yeah, that was something," she replied. Seeing the glazed look in my eyes, she added, "Baby, are you okay?" "I think I need to sit down," I said, sinking slowly onto the grass. That high vibration, wow. It's like I didn't think just being in that space would take so much energy. She knelt beside me, her hand brushing lightly over my head. "Yeah, it's not until you're there, feeling it, the way it hums through your bones, pulling at your thoughts. It's not just physical, it's like the whole world, the energy itself, processes down on you." I nodded, closing my eyes for a moment, feeling the pull of fatigue sinking deeper. You don't realize how intense it is until you're in it. It's so much light, so much sound, so much truth. Maybe. We sat there for a while, letting the cool night air settle around us. The sky was clear, sprinkled with stars, but somehow it felt smaller after what we'd just experienced. The contrast was almost too much to bear. After a few moments, Alison spoke softly. "Let's go to bed. I don't know about you, but I'm so wiped. I can barely think straight." I agreed, and we made our way into the house, moving like ghosts. We didn't even bother turning on the lights, just shuffled down the hallway and collapsed into bed, too tired to even change clothes. As we lay there in the dark, I turned to her. "I wonder what the dreams will be like tonight," I whispered. Alison let out a tired sigh. "Hopefully good," she murmured, though her voice wavered with uncertainty. "They're usually shit. Nightmares, weird visions, fragmented nonsense. This reality, this world, it's so dark sometimes. I honestly don't know how any of us keep going." I pulled her closer, my arm around her waist. "Because we have to," I said softly. "Because if we stop trying, the darkness wins. And I'm not ready to let it win. Not now, not ever." For a moment, the weight of everything, the 6D realm, the energy, the return to the harsh, heavy reality, pressed down on us like a lead blanket. But in that darkness, in the quiet of our bed, we found a small spark of light, each other, a tiny glowing thread of hope that no matter how hard it was, no matter how heavy, we could face it together. As we drifted into sleep, I felt something shift, like a whisper, brushing the edge of my mind, a message, a vision waiting to unfold. I didn't know yet, but I had a feeling that when I closed my eyes, the journey wasn't over. It was just the beginning. As the weight of exhaustion pulled me under, I felt my body sink into the mattress. The darkness around us grew thicker, pressing in like velvet. And then it shifted. I was no longer in bed. The world around me dissolved, replaced by a vast luminous landscape, where the ground shimmered beneath my feet like liquid crystal. I stood alone, yet not alone. In a place that felt ancient, great arches of light spiraled upward into a sky painted with swirling galaxies. The air hummed with energy, each breath filling my lungs with a sensation of clarity and power. A voice, gentle and familiar, whispered through the spaces. It wasn't in words, but in feelings. Comfort, guidance, and a sense of something long forgotten being remembered. "You're ready to see," the voice seemed to say. Before me a figure began to take form out of the strands of light. It was Harmony, but not as I had seen her before. Her presence was grandeur, her hair a flowing river of pink gold light, her eyes vast and deep, reflecting entire galaxies. She was just a being. She was a bridge between worlds. She wasn't just a being. She was a bridge between worlds. "Where am I?" I asked, though the words felt clumsy in this space. She smiled, her voice echoing both around me and inside my mind. "You're in the in-between, the space where your soul travels while your body rests. Here you can see truth hidden beneath the layers of waking reality." I turned, seeing flashes of images, memories, futures, possibilities spinning around me in the arcs of light. I saw Alison's face, a portal of swirling blue and gold, a place that felt like home, but not Earth. And behind it all, a dark shadow flickering at the edge. "What is that shadow?" I asked, my voice trembling. Harmony's face grew serious. "It's the truth you're not ready to face. It's the cost of awakening. But you're stronger than you know. And so is she." Suddenly, Alison appeared beside me in the dream, expression mirroring mine, confusion mixed with determination. We stood side by side as a vast door of radiant light materialized before us, its surface etched with symbols that pulsed with a soft glow. Harmony extended her hand. "This is the gateway to what comes next. When you wake, you'll remember only pieces, but the truth is already inside you. Trust the journey, trust yourselves. The real adventure begins now." The symbols on the door shimmered, and a pulse of energy surged through me. I felt my body tremble, as though I were on the verge of waking. But not yet. I reached out, fingers brushing the door, and then I gasped, sitting upright in bed, heart racing, breath ragged. Alison stood beside me, her eyes fluttering open, her breathing quickening as if she had been running through her own labyrinth of dreams. "Did you feel that?" she whispered, her voice thick with sleep and awe. I nodded slowly, wiping a bead of sweat from my forehead. "Yeah," I whispered. Back, my voice raw, "Something coming, and I think we're ready." But as I sat there, the feeling of the dream clung to me, not like a fading memory, but as though it had left a mark. I closed my eyes again, hoping to catch even a fragment more. And then, A surge of vision cascaded through me like a wave of starlight. I saw Alison and myself standing on the edge of a vast crystalline platform, suspended above an ocean of shimmering light. We were dressed in flowing robes of deep indigo and silver, marked with luminous symbols I couldn't yet comprehend, but felt were somehow our true names written in light. Around us, other beings gathered. Small, familiar, some not, watching as we stood before a towering structure of impossible geometry. It twisted and spiraled like a living cathedral made of fractal light. Its centre, a core of pulsating energy, called to us, whispering secrets of origin and destiny. A voice echoed in the vision, not harmonies, but something older, something that resonated with the deepest part of my being. You are the anchors between worlds, the bridges, the bearers of light in the shadow. The threads of fate are woven through your hands. Do not fear the darkness. It is only the contrast by which the light may be seen. I felt a sudden surge of power, recognition that we were more than just accidental travellers. This was no random journey. We were chosen. Or perhaps we had chosen long time ago. I saw flashes of the future yet to come, us standing before a council of beings, sharing a truth that would ripple across galaxies. A moment of loss and despair, followed by a rekindling of strength. A vision of Earth, but changed, brighter, more harmonious, healed through our actions. And then a glimpse of something darker, a rift, a tear in the fabric of reality itself, and the flicker of a shadow, figure standing at the edge, watching, waiting. I gasped again, the vision splintering into shards of light as I felt myself being pulled back. My eyes snapped open. I was still in bed, but the feeling of this vision hadn't faded. If anything, it had grown stronger, as though the boundary between waking waking and dreaming had thinned. Alison was sitting up too, her eyes wide and shimmering in the faint moonlight filtering through the window. I saw it too, she whispered, her voice trembling with a mix of fear and awe. I saw us, the light, the power. I reached for her hand, gripping it tightly. Not just a dream, is it? She shook her head. No, it's a calling, and we're only at the beginning. We sat there in silence, listened to the hum of the night outside, the distant echo of reality, still settling around us, but within, she was already changed. The journey wasn't over. It had just begun. The morning sunlight streamed through the window, casting a soft glow over the room. I stretched, my body still heavy from the night's intense dreams. What a crazy sleep, I thought, rubbing my eyes. I glanced over at Alison, who was already sitting up, her hair like a halo around her face. I saw harmony in my dreams, I murmured, still half in the haze of sleep. It was fun, like she was showing me something new, something light-hearted. Alison gave a soft chuckle. That's good. We're going to need that kind of energy for today. 3 days of intensive healing, she said. She said, her tone half wary, half excited. I nodded. Yeah, we've got this. I mean, we're both strong healers. I've given hundreds of healings around the world, and you, my beautiful shaman lady, you're no stranger to diving deep. I smiled, a spark of confidence blooming between us. We were made for this. Alison grinned, her green eyes sparkling as she swung her legs over the side of the bed. We might be ready, she said, but I'm still so tired from yesterday. I need a double shot of coffee before we face whatever the universe has in store. I laughed, already on my way to the kitchen, coffee first, cosmic adventures second. As the kettle hummed the familiar, comforting scent of brewing, coffee filled the air. Alison stood by the window gazing out in the backyard, the portal shimmering there, its edges rippling like water catching sunlight. She let out a small laugh, shaking her head. We're always in the thick of it, aren't we? She said aloud, almost to herself. There's always something playing out, always a twist, a turn, another rabbit hole. I joined her at the window, handing her a steaming mug. Yep, never a dull moment with us two, but I wouldn't trade it for anything. She turned to me, her smile radiant, and we clinked our mugs in a silent toast. The adventure ahead. We finished our coffee in comfortable silence, the tension of the unknown giving way to quiet excitement. Finally, I turned to her, heart pounding with anticipation. Are you ready, baby? I asked, reaching out to tuck a strand of hair behind her ear. Alison met my gaze, her beautiful green eyes shining. Yes, she said softly, her smile both nervous and brave. I'm ready to go. Let's step into the next grand adventure. I nodded, my pulse quickening as I glanced at the portal one last time. Whatever lay beyond. We were ready. With our hearts racing, we stepped through the portal. In a blink, we were on the other side, standing in a place that felt almost familiar by now, yet still completely surreal. And there she was, Harmony, standing tall and radiant. Her shimmering hair caught the light like spun silk. She was smiling, waiting for us, as if she knew every beat of our journey. Greetings, Alison. Greetings, Jason, she said warmly, her voice wrapping around us like a comfortable melody. How are you both today? We glanced at each other, caught between excitement and apprehension. Excited? I said. Also a little nervous. Alison admitted, her voice a soft echo of my own feelings. Harmony's smile deepened. Her eyes twinkled with something both knowing and kind. That is to be expected, she said, stepping closer. This is going to be a vast, life-changing experience for you both. It's natural to feel unsure, but you are ready. Hearing those words, reality hit us. This is real. This is happening. My stomach twisted with nerves, but at the same time, a spark of determination ignited my chest. Alison's hand found mine, grounding us both. Follow me, Harmony said, turning gracefully. We exchanged a final glance, then stepped into stride behind her. She led us through an awe-inspiring landscape towards a towering structure made entirely of crystal. The building seemed to pulse with light and colour, iridescent blues, soft pinks, shimmering whites. As we drew closer, the air itself grew thicker, charge of energy so potent it almost pressed against our skin. Oh, I whispered, the sheer magnitude of nearly taking my breath away. Alison's wide eyes mirrored my astonishment. The colours weren't just seen, they were felt, like music vibrating through every cell of our bodies. It is so beautiful, Alison said quietly, her voice trembling with awe. The structure's surface shimmered, reflecting the light of countless unseen suns. Even the ground beneath our feet felt alive, humming with energy as we approached the entrance. Harmony turned back to us, her expression serene. This crystal building is not just a structure. It's a living frequency tuned to the purpose of your healing. It will read your essence and guide you where you need to go most. My pulse quickened. A building that reads us, guides us. It was almost too much to comprehend. We followed her through the entrance, where the walls sparkled, impossible patterns. The energy inside was overwhelming, so pure, so high vibrational, that we could feel every layer of our being vibrating faster and faster. Alison gripped my hand tightly. "Jason," she whispered, "this is intense." "I know," I said, my voice shaking slightly, "but we're here. We're really here." Harmony's voice, soft yet clear, reached us from ahead. "Breathe deeply. Let the frequencies attune you. The journey has only just begun." As we stood there, still catching our breath from the overwhelming energy of the crystal building, movement caught my eyes. From one of the softly glowing corridors they emerged. Figures so radiant, they seemed to blur the line between the physical and the ethereal. The healers approached us gracefully, their forms shimmering with a gentle, almost liquid light. They were female, tall and slender, with a regal air that made them feel familiar, yet utterly alien. Their skin was smooth, glowing softly with a pearlescent sheen that reflected the crystalline light around them. Their clothing, or perhaps their energy robes, clung to them like a second skin, translucent and shifting in colour from soft silver to pale blue. It wasn't just fabric. It was as if the light itself had woven into delicate patterns that revealed glimpses of their naked forms beneath. Their beauty was arresting, not merely in the physical sense, but in the way they were presence hummed with multi-dimensional frequency. The eyes were especially captivating, small, shimmering with a pale silver blue light, others with a hint of green, as though the cosmos itself were reflecting in their gaze. I felt a shiver run down my spine, a mix of reverence, curiosity, and a sudden self-consciousness. I found myself frozen, my mind racing a million miles an hour, trying to comprehend not only their appearance, but the immense energy radiating from them. I glanced at Alison, silently hoping she was holding up under the surreal experience. She met my gaze, her face pale but her green eyes wide with awe and perhaps a hint of nervousness mirroring my own. We stood there, both of us utterly transfixed by the healers. As they drew closer, their movements fluid, as though they were gliding rather than walking. Their presence wasn't just visual, it was felt, like a soft frequency wrapped around our minds and bodies, preparing us for what was to come. One of them, with shimmering silver-green eyes, stepped forward. She inclined her head slightly, her voice a harmonious melody that seemed to resonate in our minds as well as our ears. "Welcome, beloveds," she said softly. "You have been called here for your healing, for the restoration of what was once whole. Do not fear, your path is guided by love, and we are here to assist you." My heart thudded in my chest, a mix of awe and trepidation. I could feel the magnitude of what we were about to undertake pressing down on me, yet at the same time a growing sense of trust. I reached out instinctively seeking Alison's hand. She took it without hesitation, her grip strong despite her obvious shock. The healer who had spoken turned slightly, her companion forming a graceful circle around us. "Come," she said, her voice a soft hum. "Your journey to wholeness begins now." Harmony looked at both of us with a gentle but firm gaze, her radiant form shimmering soft in the light of the crystal building. "You will be doing this separately," she said, her voice resonating like a musical note that reverberated in our hearts. In that instant, a wave of anxiety swept over us. Alison and I exchanged a quick, almost panicked glance. Without speaking, we knew what we needed. "May we have a moment together before we begin?" I asked softly. Harmony's expression softened, a hint of understanding passing over her face. "Of course," she said, stepping back with a nod. We turned toward each other, drawing closer until we were just inches apart. The energy between us felt electric, charged with love, fear, and determination. In the silence, we both knew what we needed to do, not just for ourselves, but for each other. At the same time, we spoke the words that had become second nature to us through the years of spiritual work. We now revoke any hidden contracts, agendas, or unseen manipulations on all levels, past, present, and future. Across all timelines, hidden timelines, we declared our voices merging into one. In the multiverse, omniverse, in this realm and beyond, any contracts connected to these 3 days of healing in between worlds involving Jason and Alison are now null and void. It is done. It is done. It is done. Forever so. I spoke the final words. I felt a deep surge of release, like invisible shackles were being unlocked from my being. The air around us seemed to shimmer, and for a moment I thought I saw a faint golden thread unravelling in the space between us. Alison's eyes were closed, her lips still moving silently with the words, her body trembling slightly as if something powerful were lifting away. We stood there for a moment longer, allowing the full weight of our declaration to settle into our bones. Then, when we were ready, we opened our eyes and turned back to Harmony. "We're ready," I said softly, my voice steady now. Harmony's smile returned, radiant and calm. "Very good. Let's begin." We turned to each other, feeling the weight of the moment, and shared a final heartfelt hug. As our arms wrapped around each other, I whispered, "See you soon." Alison looked up at me, her green eyes shimmering with both courage and vulnerability. "See you soon," she echoed, her voice strong despite the uncertainty hanging between us. With a lingering kiss, we parted ways, stepping into our respective healing paths. I found myself approached by 2 ethereal healers, their tall, elegant forms moving with a grace I had never seen in my realm. Their presence exuded not just beauty, but an otherworldly confidence that made me feel strangely at ease. Harmony gave me a reassuring nod, her radiant figure beginning to shimmer as she prepared to leave. "I'll see you both soon," she said, her voice like the last note of a song fading into the air. I nodded back, feeling a mix of anticipation and nervousness. "See you soon." With that, Harmony vanished into the crystalline light of the chamber, leaving me in the care of these 2 healers. They stood on the other side of me, their movements so synchronized and fluid that it was almost hypnotic. One of them turned towards me, her silver blue eyes warm and calming. "Are you all right?" she asked softly, her voice gently yet firm. I managed a small smile. "Yes." Excited but nervous. She returned my smile with a serene nod. "I'm Imara," she said, "and this is my friend, Nia." As they introduced themselves, a deeper sense of connection stirred within me. Amira, the name resonated through my mind, its meaning echoing louder than I expected. A strong in Swahili, the perfect name for someone guiding others through deep healing. I could already sense her inner strength flowing into me, lending me her calm, grounded energy. Nira, her name carried a different vibration. Purpose in Swahili resonated deeply within me as well. Healing wasn't just about mending what was broken, it was about to rediscover one's true purpose, realigning with who we truly are beneath the pain and conditioning. I felt their hands lightly brush my shoulders, steadying me as the crystalline corridor ahead shimmered with iridescent light. I glanced at Nira and Mara, feeling a pulse of gratitude. Their presence wasn't just to heal, they were here to anchor me, to help me hold steady as I stepped into what I sensed would be a transformation unlike anything I'd experienced before. The light ahead beckoned, and with a deep breath I whispered to myself, "I'm ready." As I lay there, the crystalline bed adjusted itself perfectly, melding to the shape of my body. It didn't feel solid like a conventional surface. It felt alive, as if it was responding to my energy, adapting to me. A gentle hum vibrated through it, a soothing pulse that resonated with my heartbeat. Above me, the crystal embedded in the ceiling began to shift, rays of soft iridescent light, golds, pinks, greens and blues, cascaded down like liquid stardust, weaving through the air. The lights weren't just illumination, they were streams of energy, wrapping me in warmth and soothing pulse that reached into every cell of my being. At first I felt a tingling sensation, like the touch of a breeze against my skin, but it quickly deepened. The light seeped into me, flowing through every pore, every atom. I could feel it reaching into my bones, my nerves, my DNA itself, unraveling the knots of tension I hadn't even known were there. Images and sensations began to emerge in my mind's eye. Fragments of old wounds, memories of pain and fear, of moments of thought I long since forgotten. But instead of overwhelming me, the light gently washed through them, dissolving them like morning mists in sunlight. It wasn't just cleansing, it was rewriting, as though it were weaving the fractured pieces of me back together. Colours intensified, deep violets and emerald greens, and I felt a sudden wave of release, like a deep sigh rolling through my entire body. My muscles softened, my breath deepened. Then came the golden light, a rich, radiant glow that poured through my mind and heart like a waterfall of honeyed light. This was just healing. It was activation. I could feel something switching on inside me, something that had been dormant for lifetimes. My DNA itself felt like it was awakening. Strands of light spiraling open, reaching beyond what I thought possible. Tears welled up in my eyes, not from pain, but from the sheer beauty of the sensation. It was as if my very soul was being bathed in light, remembered, restored. Nia's voice whispered near my ear, her tone gentle but firm. "This light is rewriting you, undoing the bindings of trauma, activating the parts of you that are ready to awaken. You are safe. trust the process. I felt a warmth bloom in my chest, golden glow spreading outward. It wasn't just a physical healing. It was emotional, energetic, and spiritual. The layers of my being harmonizing, each note returning to its natural frequency. I could feel the webs of pain dissolving, the old codes breaking down in their places. There was only light, only truth. As the light continued to bathe me, I realized that I was becoming something more, not different, not alien, but more whole, more aligned with who I truly was beneath the layers of conditioning. I felt my breathing slowing, my heartbeat in perfect rhythm with the crystalline hum around me, my body relaxed in a state of deep, trusting surrender. And just as I thought I might slip into a sleep, Nia's voice echoed once more, "This is only phase 1, Jason. The light has begun its work. Rest now. When you awaken, you will be ready for the next phase." I let my eyes close, feeling the coloured light weaving through me, and slipped into a profound stillness, cradled in a living cocoon of light and crystal. Waves of intense light piercing through the layers of old pain, ancient wounds unravelling, my very soul screaming and shuddering, yet somehow I got through it. The light was relentless, yet gentle, as if it were both a firestorm and a loving embrace. I fought it at first, my mind resisting, my body convulsing, and then surrendering. And then darkness. I must have passed out, because the next thing I remember was waking up, but it wasn't the same as before. I felt light, almost weightless, as if I were a leaf floating on a sunbeam. My body no longer felt heavy and burdened. It was as though something dense had been lifted from me, leaving behind only clarity and a deep, expansive peace. My mind was clearer than it had ever been. Understanding rushing through me, concepts of self, of truth, of the interconnectedness of all life. It was as if the universe whispered its secrets to me while I slept. I felt as though I was standing on the threshold of something so vast, so profound, that this was merely the beginning. My breath was steady now, and as I looked around I noticed the faint radiant glow still lingering in the air, the crystalline walls reflecting the soft dance of colours that had healed me. Amira and Naya stood on either side of the bed, their serene faces filled with quiet joy and compassion. They gently helped me out of the healing bed, their hands cool and steady against my warm skin. I was still in the soft white garment, now shimmering faintly as if it too had absorbed the healing energies. "Are you alright?" Amira asked softly, her silver blue eyes searching mine. "Yes," I managed, through my voice cracked with emotion. "How long was I out?" "Hours," Amira replied, her tone a mixture of relief and admiration. "It was touch and go for a while, but you made it through the first stage. You are strong." I just looked at them both, gratitude and awe swirling inside me. These beings were more than just healers. They were guardians and guides and witnesses to the rebirth of a soul, of souls. And I was humbled to be in their presence. For a moment I stood there, basking in the sense of lightness and renewal, knowing deep down that this was only the beginning of a much deeper, transformative journey. The road ahead would be challenging, but for the first time in a long while, I felt truly ready. I was gently guided to a soft, cushioned seat, positioned near the centre of the room. The fabric was cool and inviting, a silken texture that seemed to cradle my body with delicate care. As I sank into it, A sense of relief washed over me. Relief that I had made it through. Relief that for the first time in ages I could simply rest. One of the healers handed me a large translucent glass filled with a shimmering liquid. The drink glowed faintly like liquid light infused with whispers of colour. "This is an elixir," she said softly, her voice like a melody. "It will replenish your energy, help integrate the healing, prepare your body for the next phases." I brought the glass to my lips and took a cautious sip. The taste was unlike anything I've ever known. Sweet and cool, yet the subtle warmth that bloomed to my chest. It tasted of ancient flowers, honey, and the crispness of mountain air, as if it contained the essence of life itself. With each sip, I felt the elixir weaving through my body, knitting together the fragile space left behind by the healing light. I drank deeply, surrendering to the gift being offered. The healers gave me a gentle nod, and with silent grace, left the room. I was alone now, the crystalline walls shimmering softly around me, the energy of the space still alive and swirling like gentle currents of air. I could feel the subtle vibrations, the hum of something unseen but ever present. It felt as though I were in the heart of a living organism, a space of pure resonance where every breath I took was harmonized with the pulse of the universe. I sat there in the silence, letting the waves of peace and renewal flow through me. My mind drifted, not in confusion or exhaustion, but in a deep, restful contemplation. I thought of everything that had led me here, the lifetimes of pain, the struggles of this world, the moments of despair, the fleeting hope. All of it seemed to dissolve into the ether now, leaving behind only the quiet, knowing that this was exactly where I was meant to be. Outside the crystal walls, the light continued to play, refracting and reflecting like living rainbows. The room was filled with a sense of infinite calm, as though the universe itself were holding me in a gentle embrace. And as if I sat there, breathing in the light and the silence, I realized I wasn't just healing, I was becoming whole. It was finally time to leave the healing space. Over 4 hours had passed, yet felt both like a moment and an eternity. As I stood still, flowing the echoes of energy flowing through me, harmony arrived. Her presence was like a gentle bell, a soft yet powerful hum that resonated through the space. She smiled warmly, her eyes reflecting the shimmer of light of the crystal walls around us. She stepped closer, her voice soothing, but with an undercurrent of purpose. "It's time," she said softly. "You've done beautifully. Now, let's reunite you with Alison." Excitement surged through me, a mix of eagerness, nervousness, anticipation. Together, we stepped through the smooth archway that opened to the outside, where the air felt fresher, clearer, and infused with a faint, invigorating scent of blossoms I couldn't place. The sky above was soft gradient of pastel pinks and golds streaking with shimmering light, as though the air itself was charged with gentle magic. There she was, Alison. She stood beneath a crystal bloom tree, her radiant smile breaking across her face. As she saw me, she looked as though she just returned from a journey through the stars. Her green eyes sparkled with new clarity, and though her body seemed tired, her spirit shone like light, reborn. The exhaustion we both felt was laced with a strange exhilaration, as if we were being dismantled and reassembled with finer, stronger threads. I felt a wave of relief and joy wash over me. "Hey, beautiful," I whispered, and we closed the distance between us. Alison laughed softly, her voice like music. "I feel like we've been asleep for a century and woke up, new, but exhausted." She looked into my eyes, her expression mirroring mine. "You look exactly how I feel." I nodded, grinning, tired, but reborn. Harmony watched us quietly, a subtle smile on her lips, before speaking again. You've both done more than you know, and this is just the beginning. Alison and I exchanged a glance, one of shared understanding, gratitude, and the faint flick of anticipation for what lay ahead. Harmony stepped closer, her presence a calm anchor in the shimmering space around us. Her voice was soft, yet it carried a quiet gravity. Before we move forward, she said, it's important you both shared your experiences. There is a wisdom and a reflection in the weaving of your stories. Alison turned to me, her green eyes brighter than ever seen before, her hands trembling slightly as if still feeling the vibration of her healing. It was intense, she said quietly. At first it felt like I was dissolving into light. Every layer of me, physical, emotional, energetically, was being unravelled and then reformed. It was almost unbearable, but at the same time I felt held, like I was being cradled in light. I listened, captivated, and she continued. The healers worked with me, layers within layers, clearing what I didn't even know I was carrying, the pain I'd buried so deep. I'd forgotten that it existed. Old grief, old betrayals, even ancient wounds from before this life. It felt like they were untying knots, being part of me for eons. And then there was this moment where I just let go and everything went quiet, and I saw myself, not the version in this life, but a radiant cosmic self. I remember who I was between this world, and then I was just light, pure shimmering light. When I woke up, I felt whole, more me I have ever felt. I felt a lump in my throat as I listened, recognizing pieces of my journey reflecting in hers. That's incredible, I whispered. Sounds like you were reborn. Alison nodded, her smile soft. In a way, I was. Harmony's eyes gleamed, and she inclined her head. Both of you have crossed a threshold. You've shed the dense layers that have kept you entangled in lower realities. Now your true essence can begin to shine through. This is just the beginning of your remembrance. I turned to Harmony, curiosity brimming. What happens next? She gave a faint smile. Now you'll begin phase 2, but not just yet. Tonight you'll both rest, integrate, and dream deeply. You will begin to see visions of your paths, your shared mission, and the unfolding of greater purpose. These dreams will prepare you for what comes next. Alison and I exchanged another glance, a mixture of our awe, exciting, and trepidation. Rest well, Harmony said. Her voice echoed in the crystalline air. For tomorrow we begin again. With a soft shimmer of light and gentle hum, the portal shimmered into existence beside us, rippling like liquid glass. Alison and I exchanged a quiet glance, our fingers instinctively brushing together in a silent promise. Without words, we stepped together, the air shifting and bending around us. In an instant, we were back in the backyard. The familiar surroundings felt almost surreal. After the brilliance of the healing chamber, the grass was damp with dew. The sky painted twilight hues of indigo and gold. The portal closed around us with a soft sigh, leaving one of the echo of its hum in the quiet rustle of leaves. We stood in silence for a moment, grounding ourselves. Alison's breath caught in her throat as she turned to me, her smile gentle but tinged with exhaustion. Let's get some sleep, she whispered. I think we're going to need it. I nodded, wrapping my arm around her shoulder. As we made our way inside, the house felt dim and quiet. The weight of the day settling on our shoulders, we didn't bother with much, just stumbled into bed, still in awe of everything we'd seen and felt. As soon as we lay down, a heavy, velvety sleep pulled us under, but it wasn't the kind of sleep we were used to. This was something deeper, like falling into a fold of a cosmic cocoon. The dream space. I awoke, or perhaps drifted, into a dreamscape unlike any I'd ever experienced. I was standing on a plain of starlight and swirling colours where the sky stretched endlessly above, alive in constellations that pulsed like a heartbeat. Strange, yet familiar symbols shimmered in the air, around me whispering ancient songs. Alison appeared beside me, her presence radiant and calm. She wore a flowing robe of light that trailed behind her like a comet's tail. "Jason," she said, her voice harmonic, blend of music and memory. "This is the space between worlds. This is where we remember." Before us, the fabric of reality ripped and parted, revealing scenes from lives we had lived before, a place we had walked long ago. Saw flashes of us standing beneath alien suns holding hands as we watched cosmic storms dance across the strange skies. I saw moments of healing, of teaching, of leading others through the dark into the light. A figure appeared, a radiant, towering being of light, its features shifting and infinite. It spoke directly into our minds, its voice resonating through our bones. "You have always been connected. Your journey through lifetimes have brought you here. The challenges you face in the walking world are but shadows of your true purpose. Remember who you are. Remember your light." I felt the weight of the lifetimes pressing against me, but also the power of those lifetimes lifting me together, but also the power of those lifetimes lifting me higher. Alison's hand tightened around me, and together we stood, gazing into the vastness of possibilities. The being continued, "When you awaken, you will carry this knowing within you. The next phase of your healing is not just of body, but of soul. You're not only here to heal yourselves, you are here to awaken others, to light the path in the world drowning in shadows." I felt tears streaming down my cheeks, but they were not of sadness, they were of remembrance, of truth finally coming home. The dream shimmered, the light intensifying until it was all around us, within us. Suddenly I awoke with a soft gasp, the morning light streaming through the window. Alison stirred beside me, her eyes fluttering open. We stared at each other, wordless, but knowing. The remnants of the dream still vivid behind our eyes. "We remembered," she whispered. I nodded. "Yes, we remember. And now we begin." To be continued.